Feels like we've spent all year just waiting for that weather to improve, and so far it's showing no signs of that. We're just approaching August now, and August is the time when you start pulling all your onions. Usually around mid-August, after they've had a few weeks of falling over and time to dry out. Unfortunately, it's done nothing but rain all the way through July. I've checked weather forecast over the next few days, and apparently in August it's going to rain for 10 days straight. But the problem with that is all those onions that's outside in his beds have all fell over, and they're supposed to be slightly bulbing up and drying out a little bit. But if it's going to rain for 10 days in a row, after the last 4 weeks of rain, them onions are going to start rotting. So I've decided I'm just going to take all the lot up today. I'm not bothered how big they are, because they're definitely not going to get any bigger now. So I just might as well take every onion up that's outside, and then what I'll do with them is I'll freeze them, because you can freeze onions as well. And we'll do that on Cooking Channel at some point this coming week. Just to secure something out of what's been one of the worst years I've known for onions, we'll go and take what we can before that rain starts again. I've got a few left in this old tin bath in container garden. Most of them have gone over and we've took them out, but we've still got a few left to go at. And then we've got some really small ones that haven't bothered growing much at all this year. They're still not a bad size, to be fair. All these smaller ones, I'm just going to leave those, but that'll do for the moment. I've got a few reds in this container. They're not a bad size so far, so I think I'll leave those till a bit later, because we can move container out of that rain if we need to. There's a few in this container, might as well take those out as well. And we'll go and see what's left in these beds. And there's a couple of reds in there, so I'll take some of those out, so we've got a mixture. There's a couple of reds that's not a bad size. They're not brilliant, but from sets they never seem like they are. Just take a few out of here. That one's starting to rot already. So's that. They'll not store now. I'll just take a few of these reds out. Some of them have barely grown at all. Again, quite small ones, but they might as well come out now. These are the ones that we were looking at quite recent, and they've hardly grown. Again, it's been a very poor year for onions, and I don't think these are going to grow at all now. They've all died back. All tops of these plants have virtually gone. So what we've got is what we've got this year, and it's not very impressive. Nothing of any size at all. I'll have to get those nets put back over these tunnels as well, because as we harvest as vegetables and those beds become empty, we're going to have cats in them, and that's the last thing we need. There might be a couple in this bed. Again, still small, and there's others there that didn't even bother growing at all.
Looks like we've got a bit of broccoli growing though, if that survives.
Well, we've took another harvest of onions, but as you saw, not really impressive this year. And a bit of a mixture because we've got a few red ones in there this time. We have got that rack in that shelter in beer garden that's got rows and rows of good sized onions which we're leaving to dry out because they'll store then what we through autumn. But these, we're going to try and use these up straight away. So the idea is the onions that I've pulled up that are only that size, well, they'll do to make more jars of pickled onions, and there is quite a few small ones, and anything bigger than that, what I'll do is I'll shred them and I'll freeze them, and we'll just have to accept that this year as far as onions go is what it is, and it's definitely not going to get any better if it's going to rain for the first 10 days in August. I hope your onion harvest were a bit better than what ours were this year, but we are all in the same boat and there's nothing we can do about it except move on and see what we're going to sow and grow in August, and that video will be coming soon enough. I know one thing for certain, as this year gets closer and closer towards autumn, the weather's just not going to get any better. So as we approach autumn, I'll be concentrating a lot more on container gardening, because at least we can control the environment in this greenhouse to some degree. And we're getting lots and lots of these caravan wash bowls starting to come empty from taking as harvests. And as we've been saying since we started this container garden, things like that only take up a very small amount of space and a small amount of compost. So we might as well fill all these up that we've got, get a lot of seeds in and get some plants growing, and fill all those benches with smaller but definitely more successful harvests than we've been getting from that garden this year. And we'll have fingers crossed as we approach that time when we have to start turning out all those potatoes. And so far we've had some good results from those potatoes, but we're hoping for much more from the main crops. But with a combination of wind and consistent rain, it makes you wonder if that is going to be another letdown like those onions were this year. But that remains to be seen. When we've waited for so long to take these harvests and they end up not being anywhere near what we expected, it can be very disheartening. But don't let that stop you trying again. If you're a new gardener this year, you've probably picked the worst year to start that. So if you're getting through it with something, then you've not done well, you've done amazing. So just carry on and we'll aim for more through autumn, especially when we're growing them in these little containers. That is another batch of carrots, and I think we've got about 3 of those on go. Then we've got white Lisbon, spring onions, we've got pickled onions growing as well. Lots and lots of things that we know so far have never let us down once. And if you're interested in seeing what we'll be sowing and growing in August, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care.